So to get started on our correlation coefficient information, we're going to find the basic mean values, quartiles, median, mode, and things like that, just so we have all of them. We're going to use Excel to do it. So I am going to go to Excel here. Here is my sample data, and this is, I had to randomly sample mine. This is my sample data specifically for doing this example. Okay, I don't need the gender for this, I need the age and the pairs of shoes. You're probably just going to have raw data. Maybe you have sample data. Make sure you use the correct data. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these two columns right here, my age and my numbers of pairs of shoes. So I'm going to do the calculation on this right now. So I'm going to hit Control C, and then I'm going to come to my correlation coefficient. I'm going to put them over here, and I'm going to put them down in like the third row. So I'm going to put them right there. So I'm going to hit Control V. I'm going to call this X. I'm going to call this Y. The center of the X and the Y. So there's all of my values. X is my age, and Y is my number of pairs of shoes. So I'm going to find out some statistics here for this thing. So I'm going to do X bar. Now I'm not going to worry about the proper notation for this because when I put it in the paper, I'll make sure that I get the proper notation and things like that in there. So X bar, and I'm going to get my X bar, which is my mean. So I'm going to type in equals and then average, and then I wanted to find the average of my X values. So I'm going to click on one and drag it down to the bottom, and that's going to give me my X bar right there. Okay, now this will find a lot of stuff. So I'm going to have it find my minimum and my first quartile and my median and my third quartile and my maximum, all right, for my X values. So I'm going to type in equals min, and I'm going to use the same range right there. Okay, so that's going to be my minimum is 7. I'm going to type in equals quartile. Then I'm going to type in my range here. So there's my range. And whoops, I have to tell it I want the first quartile. So comma 1, because I want the first quartile. And you can see that it popped up there what it wanted. So first quartile. The first quartile is 9. I type in median. And I'm going to do the same thing here. In my range, I want to look at the again. So there's my median, 13. Then I'm going to type in quartile, but this time I'm going to put the 3 in there. I want the third quartile. All these are simple calculations, so I don't have to show the one that was comma 3 for third quartile. Then I want the maximum. So there are my minimum, first quartile, median, third quartile, maximum. I believe that we'll find the mode. Let's see if it works. Yep, so it did. It found the mode, so I'll put mode there. All right, I don't think I'll need the mode for anything. But there is my that information there. Now, I want my inner quartile range, because I'm going to have to find out if I have any outliers. All right, so my inner quartile range is going to be equals third quartile minus first quartile. Okay, so 10.25 is my inner quartile range. All right, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find outliers. So I'm going to have to label this. I'm going to put outlier minimum. So that's going to be my bottom number. Hang on, sorry. Outlier range. And that was equals the inner quartile range times 1.5. All right, so that's what I'm going to add and subtract to the first and third quartiles. So outlier minimum is going to be the first quartile minus this range. And then my outlier maximum is going to be the third quartile plus the range. That's where my outlier. So anything under negative 0.6, obviously I don't have that because this is my X value, so there's no one age that's negative. Anything over my maximum here. So now what I've got to do is I'm going to have to do this by hand. I could make Excel do it, but it's going to be a little cranky. So anything over, anything 35 or over in here. All right, so I'm going to look down through and I'm going to look and see if I have anything over there yet. I have 40 right there. So I have one outlier in age. So age outlier 40. I'm going to make a note of that. I'll have to talk about that in my paper and see if that affects anything. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing with the Y values. So I'm going to do this, Control C, get down here. I'm going to change that first one to Y bar. So I want to see there's any outliers in my shoe size. All right, so I'm going to equal average. And this time I'm going to use the range right there for my Y values. Now, I'm going to cheat this time. Maybe you thought of it, but I'm going to take this thing right here, just that range. I'm going to highlight it and hit Control C, so I don't have to keep highlighting it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. So minimum was min, and I'm just going to paste my range in there. As long as I copied the range correctly, I can paste it in there. First quartile, so equals quartile. Paste that, but I remember I got quartile. Not mad at me. I got to put a comma 1 there for first quartile. And then median, whoops, I got to put equals, I won't know what I mean. Equals median, that range. You can highlight the range each time if you want to. Equals quartile, I'm going to put the range in there, and then I got to go up here and put a comma 3 for third quartile. Equals max in that range, mode in that range. All right. So then I'm going to hit equals for interquartile range. Third quartile minus first quartile. The outlier range is equals the interquartile range times 1.5. The outlier minimum would be the first quartile minus that range. And the outlier maximum would be this plus the outlier range. So based on my data, an outlier for number of pairs of shoes is going to be 19 or more. I'm pretty sure there was no 19 or more in there. So I have no outliers. So I'm going to say shoe pair outlier, none. Okay, so there's none of those. Really, I don't have any outliers in this. Now, I do want to show a box and whisker for these to kind of show what's going on. It's not a terrible thing to have in my paper. So I'm going to have, I'm going to highlight this data right here, both of them. I'm going to go down through, get all of them in there, and then I'm going to go to Insert, and I'm going to go to Recommended Charts because Box and Whisker is not shown there. So I'm going to go Recommended Charts. I'm going to go to All Charts. And down here at the bottom is Box and Whisker. And I'm going to pick Box and Whisker. Now, it's going to put this over top of stuff, so I'm going to bring it over here like so. Drag it down here. All right, and then we've got to play around a little bit. So I'm going to zoom out so I can see it. So at plus, I'm going to put axis time. I don't want that. Data labels. So you can see that it has my outlier figured out for me on there. So I can put the data labels if I want. I don't think I need them. I am going to put a legend on there because I want to say what the orange and the blue are. All right. So then I'm going to go here and I'm going to say age versus number or pair of shoes, pair of shoes. Then series 1, I should be able to change the name of that. Maybe I can. Let me rethink this here. I can change the data, select data. All right, so let's make this go up to G2. Let's see if that makes a difference. Whoops. Sorry. Select data. Maybe I can right here. There we go. So edit. Series name is going to be age for that one. And then series 2. So I'm going to have to go back and check I did this. Is pair of shoes. Okay, so I'm going to hit OK on that. So now my chart should have. Yes. All right. So how I did that, I couldn't figure out how to do it. So I clicked on the table. I clicked select data. And then in here, it had series 1 and series 2, and I was able to change the names right there. I just hit edit, so I highlighted age, hit edit, hit OK, highlighted this, hit edit, and then I said OK. And then it says edit axis label, so I don't have any axis labels in there right now, but I could if I wanted to. I could put those on there. So I hit OK. So now it says age and number of pairs of shoes owned. All right, so it's got that information in there. So that's my box and whisker, all right, that I can play around with, but that's good enough. It gives me a box and whisker that I can show in there in my paper as I'm talking about these different values and how I figured out outliers. If you have outliers, you need to talk about what you're going to do with those outliers in your paper. Are they valid? Are they invalid? Were they made from a faulty piece of data? Or was it just, that was the only person that's there, and you can choose to throw the outliers out, or you can choose to leave them